You know, the sad part about this comment here is that you actually are confused. You really think that this is a different government than it was 160 years ago. I'm going to help you. And I hope that, you share this with your other white friends so they understand the same thing. Because this format that I have here is for free thinking black men and women. I'm getting tired of answering white people in their ignorance. You don't even try to learn. That's the sad part. You just take your thoughts and ideas and you think that everybody else should follow behind. No. How this government is the same government that was 160 years ago is because you still reference the same founding fathers that founded this country. That's why. When a crime break out, you either have the left or the right talk about the founding fathers never envisioned this when this happened. So for as long as this government is in place, they use the founding fathers' knowledge and intentions on how society should be today. That's how we have the same government. If the government was different, when they fought the war, when they fought the war to so-called free the slaves, and the North won, there was no change in philosophy, legislation, no laws. You still carried on the intentions of the founding fathers. So if you were so diabolically opposed to the North, to the Southern whites, once you won that war to so-called free the slaves, which you didn't do until 90 years later, you would have severed the ties between that hold this country accountable to what the founding fathers' intentions were. This is why. You adopted the beliefs of the founding fathers. You carried them on with you. And now you complaining about the same government. You had a chance 160 years ago to flip this script. And you refused to do it. The ideas you say are different. How is it? When you freed the slaves in 1865, was there land set up for the slaves to go and occupy? Were there homes for them to go to, for them to live, for them to separate themselves from the enslavers? No. What happened was when they freed the slaves owners were automatically transferred to their employees. They went from being slaves to being employees. So the same people who enslaved you are now your employers. They wasn't allowed to leave the plantation to go look for their family and loved ones. If they stepped foot off the plantation and didn't have a job, they was going to be arrested and released right back to the same person that enslaved them. So you tell me why 90 years after you fought the war to free the slaves, would you set up laws to do that for black people if your ideas and your beliefs were different from the government that established this country? How is it that you can give a person freedom, but don't give them nothing to support their freedom, and then lease them right back to the plantation they came from if they broke any law? Not a specific law, any law. How is that? If the ideas are different, how is it today? 2 years ago, Joe Biden signs the Juneteenth celebration, which is supposed to be the black people independence, but we have no independent businesses, industries, and institutions to promote our own way of life. You didn't equip the slaves when you gave them freedom to support their freedom. You're not giving black people today the equipment to support their independence, even though you give them independence. How do you give a person or people independence, but in order to maintain that independence, you got to be dependent upon the people who took it from you in the first place? See, only in your white mind does that make sense. Tell me the vast difference that white people have today that the whites didn't have yesterday. How do you think differently? You don't. You still want black people, no matter what we do, you still want us up under your ownership and your control. Everything we do, everything we want to be, how we want to be it, got to come through your approval. Show me through legislation, through laws, ideology, show me the difference between white people today and the white people 160 years ago. Show me the difference between a white government today and a white government 160 years ago. You can't do it. So I hope you show this video to your other white friends and take a nice hard look at yourself in the mirror. And then hopefully in the next 160 years, you will enact some real positive change.